Hello, everyone. This is Jen Amaral Coons with Living Open. Thank you so much for listening. Today, I want to talk about creating a space for compassionate inquiry, more specifically with yourself and your emotions. And so this is coming up a lot that I'm noticing in our world, in client sessions that I'm having with people I care about, is that there's this tendency in our society just to label emotions accidentally or on purpose as good or bad. And we can see that just in the way we might ask each other about emotions or talk to ourselves about them. And so we might say to someone who looks like they are struggling emotionally to say, what is wrong? What is wrong? It looks like you feel bad. Or we might tell ourselves, I feel bad, or I can't handle this. We might ask someone if they are okay. And so whether we know it or not, like we're creating this, there's some kind of a judgment, even if it's a large one or a small one, like by something being wrong, like that's bad. If I'm asking if you're okay, then there's a chance you could be not okay. And moving about the world feeling not okay is vulnerable, which could also be translated to bad. And so when I look at emotions, I definitely see them as being different. When we look at energy work, they all have a different kind of an energy or a different vibration, where some can have higher vibrations like feeling exuberant or smitten, joyful, gleeful. Some can have low vibrations like grieving, can feel like a low vibration. And so when we talk about emotions outside of energy, there can just be a strength around them. There can be strong emotions like furious. Feeling furious is different than being a little bit upset or angry or apathetic. Feeling fearful can be different than other emotions. And so different emotions are going to have a different weightedness with them, a different strength with them. Just feeling a little apathetic is going to feel different than feeling, furious. Just feeling exuberant or joyful is going to feel different than just your basic, like, I feel all right, I feel happy, like there's a positive part to this. So there's going to be a strength within all of them, the comfortable emotions and the uncomfortable. And so that piece that I think is important is to begin this different dialogue rather than emotions being good or bad, just beginning to notice them as comfortable or uncomfortable, just like you would a new pair of shoes. And so that's what I love about running shoes. I live in running shoes when I do wear shoes. I'm mostly barefoot out in the world. And when I am wearing shoes, I love running shoes. They're like comfortable at go. So if I'm going to go run a bunch of miles in them, they might not be comfortable to run the bunch of miles on the first try because you got to get used to your new shoes and create your shape in them and that level of callous comfort. However, just walking around right away in new shoes feels great, which is very different than a leather pair of heels or maybe a tight leather work shoe that you might wear. That feels different. You put it on, it doesn't always feel comfortable right away, that you have to like stretch and expand and allow for comfort. Some shoes which will do that with you and create an environment of comfort for you, and other shoes which won't. I remember having these great, amazing shoes. They were from Banana Republic. They were what I thought were the hottest shoes of my life. They had a huge buckle at the top and heels, and hard to explain like the awesomeness of them, but I loved them. I found them for a good price. I was so excited, and they were never became comfortable because of that huge buckle at the top would kind of dig in. And so even though the leather would give and stretch, the buckle prevented it from doing that, like at the toes. And so it was always uncomfortable when I wore them. And I had to like make a decision like how I want to move about with those, which then they became more comfortable just to wear to the office, but not to wear if I had to walk anywhere. And so finding use and an ability to navigate that. And so in life, we're going to have these emotions that feel comfortable. Some people are really comfortable in anger. That's one that people might feel confident and powerful in and feel like they can move through anger in healthy ways. And they know healthy behaviors around anger, and they feel like they have a good solid use for that extra energy. I think about it like a strong wind in a sail when you have anger. Other people might be really uncomfortable in anger. They're like, that is too much wind. Like, I'm moving all around. I don't like it. Anger could hurt people. I could say things that I don't want to say out of anger. So there may be some people that are really afraid of anger and not want to be around it and may judge themselves for having it. If I have anger, that's bad. So then sometimes they can even transfer it to something else. I'll just turn it into sadness or judgment for myself and try to express it that way. And then these ways are less healthy to do versus beginning to become aware. I'm having this emotion that feels like more strength than I can carry in this moment. And because of that, I am having discomfort. So maybe instead of saying, am I okay? Or why do I feel bad? Or I'm broken, that I want to just acknowledge that I'm feeling pain. And can we begin this dialogue that sounds more like, I'm sorry that you're hurting, or I can tell that you're hurting or aching. I can see that you're in pain. And even extending that, I can hold a space for you. I'm willing to listen if you need a space for that. It's okay to feel pain. That makes sense. And we want to create this dialogue within ourselves, and we want to create this dialogue in others, because these emotions, comfortable and uncomfortable, happen pretty much in every day. Like, there's going to be in every day, you're going to notice there are some really comfortable emotions that happen and some that really aren't that comfortable, even within music, within stories you read, within things you watch on TV, within the news, within conversations with your family, parenting. All of these times you're going to start feeling emotions that feel great and emotions that feel uncomfortable. And that happens every day. So if we're trying to constantly push away the ones that are uncomfortable, we're missing a whole lot of things. If we're unwilling to do the part that is uncomfortable. When I think about apologizing to someone, that can be so uncomfortable in some moments. If we're unwilling to do those things that create discomfort, then we are unwilling, to live fully, to experience the whole range. And so what we want to do is not grasp onto anything emotionally or push anything away. We're wanting to look at, how do I navigate, the comfort and discomfort? How do I navigate the different strength? Just in ways like we would navigate the weather. And so if it's raining outside or snowing outside, you may choose certain gear. How long am I going to be out there? What kind of gear do I have? If I want to be out there all day, or I have a feeling that's going to happen, then I need to make sure I have boots and gloves and a hat, scarf, whatever it is I need, warm pants, leggings, all the stuff. So we want to make sure that we're able to, navigate this discomfort in ways that feels safer to us. And that's that practice. And it's not about, other people, look at them, they're causing these emotions in me, so they are bad. There can be a tendency to notice that. That's natural and human. And sometimes there could be something unethical or unjust happening. So we don't want to discount that. Maybe they're breaking a boundary. Maybe they're being unethical. Maybe they're being unjust in that moment. We don't want to discount that. However, the growth in us is, and what is happening in us, and what do I need to do? What do I need in this moment? Because that's what we can control. We cannot control what they're going to do, but we can control, what do I need to say about it? What does good self-care look like? Do I need to set a boundary emotionally or distance-wise with myself? Do I need to walk away? What do I need? And when we can keep that focus on ourselves, instead of ignoring it and fearing it, saying, I don't want to go there because that's bad. But when we have this ability to say, oh no, that's just uncomfortable. So what do I need to do? What's happening within me when I see what's going on over there? What happens within me? And then how do I take care of myself? What can I control in this moment? And when we are struggling, even when we make those healthy choices in relationship with ourselves and others, it doesn't mean it feels any less painful for a while. How do we create then a nurturing response for ourselves? And so the beginning part is that dialogue, that allowing it to be there, not having a sadness be bad or wrong, having a sadness be pain, and that there's so much beauty in certain sadness. sadness. When I look at grieving, like the recipe, the ingredients in the recipe for grieving or for grief looks like love and beauty and compassion and sadness and fear and loneliness, and there are plenty more, anger and, there can be part that even feels like joy, the depth of joy of loving and losing someone. It's a beautiful pain. If we're unwilling to go there, we also miss the beauty and the gratitude and the uncomfortable parts, the honoring, the parts that I think are healing and honoring of the loss that has been presented to us, whether that's with a person or an experience. We're honoring it by having the emotions. It's how we move about it, is the practice. Can I create healthy behaviors verbally, emotionally, and otherwise for myself and for others around me when I am feeling anger, when I am feeling grief, when I am feeling sadness? And that's that piece we're wanting to look at. How do I take best care of myself? And it can be, easier to do when we are able to say, this isn't wrong. If we're saying this is bad and wrong, the tendency can be to punish the self and abandon the self emotionally there. Like, I'm not going to hang out with you because you're doing something bad and wrong. And what we really want to do is open up that neutral zone to be able to have that comfort for ourselves. No, I will be here in this discomfort with you. And I will do that. If you've ever had a friend who's grieving, especially a very important, like close loss to them, that would be hard to sit in with them. If you were going to sit with them a couple of days a week and be in that grief with them, supporting them, that would be really hard, and there would be moments of discomfort. If we are going to talk about a hot topic, whatever that is, political or otherwise, there's going to be some discomfort in that. If we're going to be around someone who feels really angry, there's going to be some discomfort in that. And so we want to look at, how is that affecting me and what I can do to acknowledge that within myself, to notice it, and then to create a nurturing response. And that might look like just saying, like, it's okay to feel this pain. I'm here with you in it. It may be an action phase that could look like lying down and spooning a body pillow, or your pet that's nearby, listening to a cat purr, sitting by the water, taking a warm bath or shower, using essential oils or candles. It might be holding a rock or a meditation stone, and rubbing that. It might be a stuffed animal. It might be connecting, with yourself by putting a hand on your heart or a hand on your shoulder. Just a response that shows, like, I am here with you. And when we are experiencing emotions, I think one of the hardest part is that we don't see them. They are harder to see because it's not as obvious as the weather. It's snowing outside, therefore I may or may not like it. But if I hang out here and say, that's stupid, it's snowing outside, like everything sucks, it's not going to get me any closer to what I need to do. Eventually we must accept that the weather is the way the weather is. And then once we are willing to accept that, we can move forward. What is the gear that I need if it's important to be outside? What is the gear that I need to be in this kind of a weather? And that's what we want to do with our emotions, is begin to notice those signs and bring that to the forefront to make them more visible. Because when they're more visible to ourselves, when they're more visible to others, that's where we can, bring compassion, that it's okay, People can feel the way they want to feel and have beliefs that they want to believe that are different to ours, and all of that is okay. And what we want to look at is what kind of actions that we are taking in those thoughts and feelings. What kind of actions are others taking is going to let us know what we need to do. If we look at those actions and think those are dangerous and unjust, then we need to come back to ourselves and say, what do I need to do, with this relationship in this moment? Do I need to stand here? Do I need to walk away? Is there something I need to do or say? Is there a boundary I need to set? And that part is important. to recognize again the discomfort. This is comfortable or more or less comfortable. It comes with more or less strength. And the method for madness is like the more uncomfortable the emotion with the more strength, So if you're just a little bit apathetic versus furious, if you're uncomfortable with anger and now you are furious and you find yourself experiencing that feeling of furiousness, you are going to be really uncomfortable with that. And so we want to just acknowledge what's going on in my body. Is my heart beating? Is my face feel hot? Are my fists tight? Am I clenching, my teeth? Like what's going on, for me? Can I notice that and then allow it to be and create a nurturing response? And so hopefully this helps. There's a lot going on, in our world during this pandemic time. There's a lot going on politically. There's a lot going on with our movement of more of a stronger strength of anti-racism and really this fight for equality in a whole new way that I hope continues to create movement. And all of these things in the world can be creating a lot of emotion, especially for sensitive people, anyone who's highly intuitive, empathic, highly sensitive. They can be really affected by this, in ways that you may or may not see because, like the weather, it becomes less obvious. And so the invitation is to, look a little deeper in yourself as you begin to feel the anger from things outside of you, as you begin to feel sadness for things outside of you, to get interested in how that's affecting you and what you need to care for yourself in this moment. And so if this helps you, please like or share and take good care of yourself today and enjoy the day. Bye.